All right, let's try this again. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, it just like nothing was on my screen, nothing was working. And I was like, oh. So we're going to try this again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. It is late morning here on the East Coast. And I am fresh out of the pool. And I had to just hop on because I really wanted to share something that happened with me this morning. It's actually been happening for a little while now, but I want to share this lesson with you. I had a hard lesson in life and business. Um, and most recently, I have really been able to surrender fully into the flow of things and not be so attached. And there's so much power in letting go, but that's not what this video is truly about. So, but we will touch on that. So when you're hopping on, or if you're watching the replay, say replay, hashtag it, say hello to me. Let me know where you're watching from. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to me, and click the little bell so you get notified when I'm live, because I'm going to start being live on here more, and I would love for you to join me. So I've had a hard lesson and I want to share that with you. And it's an expensive lesson too. Last year, for those that follow me, you'll know a little bit about this already. But last year, me and a beautiful, loving friend of mine decided to join hands and work together on a vision that I had in 2016. And just to start building this. And so we did. We decided to go all in and create this amazing platform, right? Because I wanted to cultivate a space in the world where people didn't have to be on social media, right? That they could have that group experience like Facebook, but on a website, which would eventually be its own app or whatever, something that's more private. I wanted to have like an online college, basically, or community. I wanted to build a platform like nobody's ever seen, and so we began working on this. Right, so we went all in. We put all these funds into this project, and we're like, gung ho, let's do this mission. Let's create this big, beautiful thing, all with the most amazing intentions from the get go. And it started out okay, but here's where the lesson began, right? And the most ironic thing about it is that I knew when it was happening. I knew, but I didn't listen, right? And this is why it's so important that we master listening to our intuition, listening to our energy and what it's trying to tell us, because our energy is literally the GPS system for our car, this body, right? And you guys have heard me say this a bunch of times. But it's so true. So last year, when we were preparing to create this platform, this spiritual school, I knew, right? I asked around, and I got different opinions from different people. Yay! Hi, Tanya. There's the one that told me too. She said, you should have it built from the ground up. And that resonated. Like, that felt really good. And then the other person involved said, oh, I know this platform where it's plug and play and it's super easy, it's super quick, and it's super cheap. And I went against my intuition. And this is not her fault. This is not blame. This is not anything like that. I just didn't listen to myself. So I went with her. And I said, oh, let's do the easy way. Let's do the less expensive way, right? Instead of say 15 or 20 or 30,000, this was going to be around 5 to 7,000. And so we went with that route. But not only that, but all of the things that we lined up to do were not working from the get-go, right? They would have a tiny bit of success, but then we would hit a roadblock, or we would hit a brick wall, and or things would fall apart, or it would become too much, and things were not working. And so I let that go for a little while, knowing all the while that something wasn't right. But here was the thing. I was attached. I wasn't just attached to this vision that I had originally in 2016, right? I was attached to that, yes, but I was also attached to my relationship with this person. I was also attached to making it work. I was trying to force a square peg into a round hole because I really, really wanted it to be her. I really wanted this beautiful thing to be something that we created together, that we worked on together. I really wanted this to take off. And not only that, but during that time, I didn't feel that what I was currently doing, I didn't feel what I currently had was enough. And it was. And it's not that my vision is wrong, right? It's just that I was forcing it and rushing it and not allowing for certain aspects to fall into place. I wasn't listening to my inner timing. My energy would tell me, this is not the right time, Johanna. You have to slow it down and listen to the next steps. You're trying to go too far ahead. And here's why I did that. In my body, I was feeling this immense pressure, this immense momentum to go, to do, to get going. But the problem wasn't that that was wrong, right? It was right. I needed to get going. I had this pressure. It was for the wrong thing. I wasn't hearing correctly. The communication was not clear. And that was because I was not listening to the divine guidance. I wasn't listening to my energy and myself. I spent a good part of the end of last year really learning how to surrender and surrender into things that I didn't necessarily see myself doing. And I thought this was just one of them, right? Because you know how you get these nudges, or this maybe you get it through a reading through someone or someone else, and you're like, I don't want to do that. Why am I being guided to do that? Why am I being pushed to do that? And you start to do it, and then you're like, oh, I really like this, right? And so if I just would have surrendered in the first place, and I would be off enjoying and experiencing my life, tra la 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 la, because I listened to that nudge and decided to be open to the opportunity or the possibility that I might actually freaking like it, right? So I thought this was one of those things, and I'm like, why is this not working? Like, this was what I was guided to do, but it was sucking my soul. It was sucking my soul dry. Like, this whole thing has been sucking the life out of me. And here's the thing. Today, again, I woke up this morning to this email from this beautiful soul who watched me on YouTube, right? And was like, I listened to your Meridian transmission and it was so beautiful. And I went to your site. This is the new site, the new platform. And I purchased one of your other transmissions, but I didn't get it. And I'm thinking in myself, at first I was a little ticked, right? Or more annoyed. Like, I have invested like $7,000 into this platform. If somebody orders an $11 product, they should be able to download it immediately. Like, I shouldn't have to go through all these hoops and complications. And it seems like no matter what I do, there's always been this heaviness and this resistance and these obstacles attached to this platform. And so a couple of, it's about 4 weeks ago, I let go of a lot of the platform, right? There was a lot of aspects of it that I really wanted to work, but I just had to start letting go, right? So I started letting go in chunks. I was like, okay, I'm going to let go of this piece. Okay, I'm going to let go of this piece. And I'm just to the bare bones of this platform, right? And it's still not working. And I invested so much time and energy into this platform that immediately I felt angry with myself, thinking, man, look at all this time I wasted. And I had a good cry, and I sat with myself, and I felt that disappointment, that grief of having to let go completely of this investment that I've made. And I did. And then I went and floated in my pool and had some of the most amazing revelations, because the minute I fully let go, the minute I fully surrendered and said, okay, I'm willing to completely hit delete on this whole thing and scratch it completely, I felt the most amazing relief. Like my whole body just went, oh, thank God, you're done. And I thought, what I had was already beautiful. What I'm doing is already fantastic. And through this experience, right, these mistakes, sadly, were really necessary for me to make. And this is part of what I teach. I have this forgiveness workbook. And the biggest thing with forgiveness is that we realize, especially when it comes to the self-forgiveness, is that we can't have today's awareness and today's understanding, today's clarity without yesterday's mistake. And think about anything we have in this world, anything that's been created, it wasn't perfect out of the box. It wasn't out of the get-go, right? We had to make mistakes. We had to fine tune it. We had to have revelations. And I was building a house with no foundation. I didn't have the foundational piece in place yet. So of course, none of it was working. But I want to backtrack a little bit and talk about the intuition part and getting visions or readings and feeling that pressure and the aspects that most often are missing from that. And that is, I had this vision in 2016, right? I had a psychic vision about myself. I was owning a spiritual school, online and then physical. I saw myself living in Hawaii. I saw the shipping container floating off into the ocean, going to the islands. I saw myself and my husband and my kids and my grandbaby running on the beach. I saw a beautiful garden and my immense connection with my newfound tribe and community in person, and living close to a physical spiritual school that I was building and retreat wellness center. And so I had this vision. I was like, oh my God, this vision is amazing. The thing is, with getting readings or psychic readings, card readings, any kind of readings, doesn't matter. And I've said this a lot lately. This has been coming up a lot. And so I want to continue to talk about it until I don't feel called to talk about it anymore. And that is, when we do readings, right, we are pulling in the most probable timeline for you. But energy is fluid. Time is fluid. If you make a decision tomorrow, right, to go sell grass skirts in Jamaica and say F it, everything's going to change. But it could also be you saying yes to somebody the next day that you should have said no to. Because every time you respond or react to something, you have the possibility of your timelines shifting and changing because you're opening doors. Does that mean that you won't eventually get to where you were supposed to be? No, it just means that you've been rerouted and you're going to take the long way now. And that's what I did. I just took the long way around. But in that long way around, what I realized is a couple of things. One, my vision still hasn't changed, right? Because your vision can change depending on how many detours you've taken and how many things you've said yes or no to, right? Not listening to your intuition. When you don't listen to your intuition, that bitch is going to fuck you up. Excuse my language. She is going to be like, you're going to listen to me. And when you listen to her or him, it's going to go fluidly, right? It's like the fast track. And apparently I needed to be slapped in the face by my intuition just a couple more times to realize that I had to fully detach from this. Sorry, side rant. But because of this, right, there's all these timelines running congruently. And when you when you get a reading and you have this beautiful intuition or this beautiful vision that comes in, you're like, yes, that resonates. That feels so good, blah, 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 blah. And you start going full speed ahead and you keep hitting these obstacles and these roadblocks and all of these things. And you're like, why is this happening to me? Like, they said it was going to work. They said it was going to happen. Do you have all the pieces? Does your body say, yes, do this now? Does it say you've never done any of this work and now you're going to go and build a fucking platform? Right? I don't know how to do this stuff. I don't know who to trust. I don't know how it's supposed to work. It wasn't my time to do that piece yet. I was way ahead of myself and I knew it and I didn't listen. My mission here is to awaken your intuition. It is to help you master understanding your energy and your guidance system, which is your intuition. And I have to go through these hard lessons and share them with you so that you will take it seriously. That's what makes me feel better. But it's so true. Because back then, had I listened, things would be different. But that's okay that it's not, right? Because now I have this immense appreciation. I have this immense appreciation for what I have right now, for the freaking simplicity of what I already have. I am in such deep gratitude and appreciation that I can say, yep, lesson learned. Because today is different than I was 6 months ago. Today is different than I was a year ago, because the year ago is when we started this. And a few months ago, I fully stepped into living in a state of surrender and not allowing things to knock me down, to not take me personally. So I could continue to judge myself, to beat myself up for the mistake I made a year ago, or I can say, wow, what a beautiful lesson in appreciating the simple things in life and knowing that I don't have to do big things in this world. I don't have to have a custom built $30,000 platform. Does that mean I won't ever? No. It means I don't need it right now. It means that all I'm being required to do is to show up fresh out of my pool and to speak my truth and say, listen, we make mistakes in life. And what they're showing us is to listen to our intuition, to listen to that guidance system. And even when you're afraid, even when you don't understand, even when you say, I don't think this isn't what my ego says I wanted to do. This is not what I thought was going to happen. If you can at least open the door to possibility and say, let me at least give it a try, you just don't know. Like, you have to, there's so much power in listening to that guidance. With that being said, though, if you give it a try and it sucks your soul dry, walk away. Because we are not here to be used by the divine, right? We're not forced to step into our mission. We're not forced to say, oh, this is what I have to do. This is what my audience wants. This is what my mission is, so I have to do it. There are many ways that we can enact our mission in this life. And if it doesn't serve your soul, it sure as hell is not going to serve another's. And so today, I am beyond grateful to say goodbye to this platform. Yes, I will have to do a little bit of work to reroute some things, but I will happily do that work and sing, because I don't ever have to deal with these people or this stuff again. And it sucked my soul dry, but it was a lesson. And ever since I knew, and it was about January, mid-January of this year, when I knew that this was no good. But I was so attached again to that relationship, to really wanting this vision to come into fruition now. I wasn't patient and I wasn't listening, right? But I knew back then. So have I let go small things along the way? Yes. This whole year has been letting go, letting go, letting go. And every time I let go, I expand and I open the door for something new and something more high vibrational to enter. So it's okay. This was an expensive lesson. But the appreciation and the clarity that has come and the new direction that my mission and my soul is taking was worth that investment. Not only that, but I want to remind you, you get what you pay for, right? So if your soul is calling you to do something that's outside that costs more than you're used to paying, and you know and you feel guided to that, honor that if you can. Honor it. Because taking someone else's cheap course or cheap package or cheap website, not only will it not get you to where you want to be, it's just going to cause regret and anger and frustration later. And maybe you need to make that mistake, right? This won't be my last mistake. So if that happens, don't judge yourself. Just release the judgment and say, okay, what was this trying to show me? What was this? What is the lesson here? Because it's if you honor that lesson, if you listen to what that lesson is and you see it and you accept it, then you don't have to fucking repeat it. Because the next time it happens, the next time that opportunity for something like that shows up, you're going to go, oh no, I see you. And I choose to put my tools into practice. I choose to listen to my intuition and my energy. I don't know why. I don't understand it at this moment, but I know this is not right. So do you guys resonate with this? What do you mean you didn't have your foundation in place? Great question. Okay, so for me to have, I'm going to use my example that I'm running with. So for me to have a spiritual school online, right? And now I want you to kind of envision this. So this was like think of an online college, right? Or not really a college, but an online school where people could go that were spiritually awake, that had every stage that they needed to enter. So for those who are just beginning, those that are intermediate, those that are a little bit more advanced, and those that are ready for the masters to become the teachers. And they had this beautiful campus online and community and space to connect away from social media. And they had lots of different teachers to interact with. And they weren't taken advantage of. They were greeted with, how may I serve you? Let me see what's best suited for you, right? It may be a $5 book. It may be a $5,000 program. If you build that, my theory was build it and they will come, right? This is not the field of dreams, though. That's not the way it worked. I needed to speak my truth. I needed to get out there and spread. I had to begin my movement. I needed to begin spreading my message. I needed to be that beacon of light, and I needed to call in the people first. I still have those things. I still have those courses where they can start from the very beginning to coming into advanced. Right now, I'm offering the soul flow experience, right? It's going from self-discovery to self-mastery. It's becoming the teacher. It's becoming the light leader. It's mastering your energy, your intuition, your knowing, all of those things. But I couldn't, no, I can't, let me say this. Let me rephrase this. If I build the school with no following, with no community, with no mass people to use, there's no ROI, there's no return on my investment. And I haven't embraced all aspects of my new tribe and community that is right now coming to me to understand how to serve them fully. So I built a house without knowing how many people are going to live in it, what they need in that house, all of those types of things. Does that make sense? So if you are going to go into business, start where you are. Just get out there. Just speak your truth. Just start with the basics. You don't need to have what the influencer that has millions has right now when you have a following of 1,000 or 500 or 200. You just need to start where you are. So I built the big house with no foundation, with no floor. So of course, it's just going to crumble. There's no support. It's not supported. There's no tribe to support it. So I hope that let me know if that makes sense to you, if that helped you understand. Tanya, I told you weren't alone. I don't listen. Yes, makes perfect sense. And timing of your message around this is perfect for me. Yay! See, there's always a method behind the madness. I was in the pool floating and I was like, hey, you need to go share this message. And I was like, I haven't meditated. I haven't done anything. But it felt good because why? Because I'm passionate about it right now. I'm like, it just feels so good. You guys, it feels so good to let go of something and to not beat myself up about it anymore. But I'll tell you one thing. The next time, or every day, I should say, not the next time, but I will honor my intuition. I will listen to her. I will listen to my guidance, right? I may not be perfect with it, but I'm done living in resistance. And that changed for me a few months ago. And as I embodied these new practices, I have felt amazing and it's been so freeing. And these are the tools I'm going to be bringing forth in the Soul Flow experience, which starts in about a week. So if anything I've said to you resonates, this is what I teach. But in order for me to teach it, I have to go through it. I have to experience the hard shit. I have to learn the lessons. I have to embody the lessons. I have to put my own tools into practice and I have to use it. And I have to be real like that to you guys. And that doesn't mean that others don't do the same. I would hope to God they do, right? Other influencers, other teachers. I would hope to God that they follow their own advice, that they embody what they teach, right? That they listen to themselves, that they follow their own guidance. But in order for me to be in integrity, I have to do that. And part of that is sharing my realness and my rawness. Yeah, this sucks, but it's money and money is just energy and I can make more of it. I can, and I'll tell you what, when it's time for me to build that platform and for me to build that school, guess who ain't doing it? Not me. I will find the right people to do it, the ones that feel in alignment, and they will create something for me that is simple to use, that isn't overcomplicated, and that will feel amazing, and it will be fluid. And I will know when it's the right time. But right now, my time is to just speak to you. My time is to get out and speak to the world and to know that what I'm offering right now is still serving. It's just not packaged maybe Oprah style, like I saw, right? Or thought it would be. Oh, so it feels so good to let go. It feels so good to not hold on to things that we can't change. I can't change it. It's done. I can just accept that it happened. I can release the judgment and I can fluidly move on. So that's what I got for you today. And if this resonates with you, please, 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 please share it out. Invite your friends because we all need to hear this stuff, you know? We just do. Done living in resistance. That's a great hashtag. Tanya and I love hashtags. I found you more real than Oprah. Oh, thank you. I love Oprah. And I do see myself meeting her. And she is a good example, though, of people who don't give up. And sometimes we have resistance where it's a test of your dedication and your commitment. And then sometimes we have the resistance that is or obstacles that are hard no's. And what I can tell you is I have noticed that there is a definite difference between an obstacle of a test of commitment and a test of, are you going to put your tools into place? And the obstacle of, this is not going to work for you because it's not your time yet, right? You're ahead of yourself. And I only know that because I know my energy so well. I know the ins and outs of me. Does that mean I always listen to that? I'm a human. I don't strive for perfection. Let's be real. I do about 95% of the time now. But I can tell you that but doing this process of knowing my energy, I can definitely tell the difference, right? So don't do things that suck your soul dry. Do things that fuel your soul, and do them with passion and fury. But know that just because you get a reading, just because you have a vision, just because you have these things, you still need to come back to your guidance. You still need to come back to your intuition and say, what is the next step? How may I be of service? Because you don't go from average Joe to Oprah overnight. It just doesn't happen. I mean, it could happen. I believe in all possibilities. But for the most part, you kind of have to work your way through it. You just do. Or this isn't working out because it's not what yep, exactly. It may not be for you, right? There's a whole nother episode on that when we talk about pulling in other people's dreams and attaching to them. But we're not going to go into that today. Maybe that'll be another coffee chat. But I appreciate you guys. Thanks for hopping on. Happy Friday. And please subscribe, click the bell to get notified, because I will be live on here a lot more. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.